All right, what's good? What's good, man? Let's get right into it. So, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, man, and why they could be in trouble this Sunday. Now, for anybody who's living under the rock, the Buffalo Bills play the Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday at 4 o'clock, the 4 o'clock game, uh, and in Kansas City. Now, I really don't want to talk about the Chiefs. I really want to talk about the Bills because I really haven't had a chance to talk about the Bills. Uh, it's in Kansas City, and if I had to put my money on it, most likely Kansas City's going to win, especially coming off that loss on prime time against the Packers. They're going to want revenge, so I'm going to have to pick Kansas City. I could be wrong, but I'm going to have to pick Kansas City. But Buffalo's coming off a bye. We don't know what's going on, but should be a good game. Now let's talk about something. The Bills are in trouble this Sunday. Honestly, if they lose this game. Honestly, the Bills have been in trouble this whole season. I've never been sold on the Bills. I really haven't. Josh Allen's playing amazing at MVP level, even though he's most likely not going to win it. Honestly, I don't think a quarterback should win it this year. I want to see a wide receiver or defensive end win it, but that's another video for another day. Josh Allen's playing amazing. The Bills look amazing here and there, but they always find a way to lose the games. And this is my problem with the Bills. Let's start off with the defense. The defense is actually playing good. Now, granted, the loss of Von Miller, I don't know if they lost him for the season. I know, what happened with the off the field stuff. I don't know if they lost for the season, but that's a huge loss, especially if they do go to the playoffs, because Von Miller brings a playoff presence. He's been to the playoffs on multiple occasions. He's a veteran, so that's a huge loss. But at the same time, Bills defense is playing amazing with or without Von. That's not the problem. The problem is everything else. Okay, number one, let's talk about it. Stefon Diggs. I believe with the whole locker room dynamic between Stefon and Josh Allen, it made it toxic in the locker room to the point where it's still a distraction. And, that distraction doesn't really go away until the wide receiver or someone else goes. Now, two things can be true. I believe Stefon Diggs needs to be traded. He needs to go. Number one, he wants to go, then go. And number two, it's way too toxic in the locker room, way too toxic between him and Josh Allen and him and the coaches. I agree with that. But at the same time, I can sit here and say, Bills fans, be careful what you wish for. Because I've seen when star wide receivers leave, quarterbacks look way worse. Big Ben, when he lost Antonio Brown, looked way worse in 2019 than he did in 2018. And I honestly kind of was thinking about this today. It's funny how the correlation between the Bills and the Steelers of 2018 and 2019 is kind of doing the same thing. The Bills might miss the playoffs like the Steelers back in 2018, and they might trade their star wide receiver like the Steelers did in 2019. And, Big Ben looked trash his first 2-3 games, then got injured, and the Steelers missed the playoffs and they look horrible. Now, granted, I'm not wishing injury on Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen will get injured. I hope not. But at the same time, it's just the correlation is way too, similar. And honestly, just even off of that, I seen it with my Giants. When my Giants traded Odell Beckham, Eli Manning looked like a bum. So, yeah, does Diggs need to be traded off the Bills? Absolutely, 100%. But at the same time, Bills, I want to see, speaking of it, let's put him on the screen. I would love to see what Josh Allen does when he has scrubs out there at wide receiver, when they're getting single coverage, and now he has to rely on Gabe Davis and the rest of these bums out there. I get your tight end is good, but at the same time, he's a rookie. He's a rookie. I would love to see how the NFL reacts to that rookie tight end next year when they have film on him. It's just one rookie year. Can we chill out? I've seen Evan Ingram have one good rookie year with my Giants. And speaking of Josh Allen, listen, Josh Allen's an elite quarterback. Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. I really have no criticism of him. I mean, Josh Allen throwing an interception or 2 interceptions here and there, making boneheaded decisions. That's just Josh Allen. You saw it with Brett Favre. You saw it with Tony Romo. You saw it with, I don't know. You see it with a lot of quarterbacks. That's what they do. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You have to accept the good with the bad. But are we sure Josh Allen's gonna? Are we sure that Josh Allen's not gonna have a letdown year next year? Josh Allen's playing out of his mind, and this is probably the last time. This is a Super Bowl roster. This is a Super Bowl contending roster, and I don't even see them making the playoffs. I think the Bills have missed their shot to win the Super Bowl. Now, and that's really crazy to say because the AFC is so open, but at the same time, I don't see the Bills beating the Chiefs. I don't see the Bills beating the Ravens. I'm gonna take it further. I don't even see the Bills beating the Texans. That Texans team is amazing. DeMeco Ryans is coaching his mind off. CJ Stroud, what else is there to say? Dude's amazing. I know they just like I lost Tank Dell, but at the same time, that team is so young and hungry, and and then watch them next year. Watch them next year when they have a full off season. The Jets, I think the Jets are going to bring back Aaron Rodgers next year. The Dolphins ain't going nowhere. Like, at the same time, the Bills, man, it's just, they are in deep trouble if they lose this Sunday. Because I don't see them making the playoffs. What are they, 6-6 right now? They're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt. The Texans still have a better record than them, and the Texans are still going to keep running. The Broncos, who have the tiebreaker over them, still have a chance to make the playoffs, especially with the Steelers falling out of it since Kenny Pickett, who's trash by the way, is out of it, since Deshaun is injured, since Burrow's injured. Those teams are going to fall, which means other teams are going to rise. And honestly, I see the Broncos, I see the Texans, and I see the Colts, especially with Lawrence going down. I see the Colts making the playoffs over the Bills. And that leads me to the biggest thing, Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott, bro, you're not the worst head coach I've seen, but you're pretty dumb, bro. You are pretty dumb. Some of the decisions that the Bills make me scratch my head like, huh? What? Like the Bills are, how can I put it? The Bills are kind of like LSU in college football this year. Like a good team, but at the same time, they just make stupid decisions that makes you scratch your head. Like I cannot trust the Bills in a pivotal situation, a do or die situation, because they're just going to mess it up. They're just going to mess it up. And some of that goes on the coaching. Like Sean McDermott, like you have Josh Allen with 25 seconds in that Eagles game. You're not going to try to go for the end zone, especially since you suck in overtime. What are you, 0-5, 0-6 in overtime? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. You have Josh Allen who's balling, and you can't, you couldn't do anything. That's a coaching issue. And I get they fired the defensive coordinator. I get they made all this coach staff, and they've been playing better, yes. But they just still make those boneheaded, dumb decisions. I still can't buy fully into the Bills. And when it comes to the Chiefs games, I think once again, this is a 50-50 game. Even right here, the win probability is Chiefs 53, Bills 47. It's in Kansas City, and this is the Chiefs are just coming off a loss. I think, aren't they coming off back-to-back losses? No, they they lost to the Eagles, beat the Raiders, and then they lost to the Packers on Sunday night. So, so it's in Kansas City coming off a loss. So they're going to be out for blood. They're going to want to, win. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a tough game for the Bills. Even though the Bills, they're rested. I think they're coming off a bye. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. But at the same time, I just can't fully buy into the Bills. And this is one of the years where, this is unfortunate. This was the Bills of, 2020 in this AFC. I would pick them to win the Super Bowl. I would honestly pick them to win the Super Bowl because the AFC is so weak. But at the same time, the Bills, it's like something chemistry-wise is wrong with it. It's like something we can't see on the screen. On the screen, they're one of the best teams in the league. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But it's just something chemistry. I don't know if it's the Diggs-Allen beef. I don't know if it's Sean McDermott's coaching. I just don't know what it is. But it's just something about them. I can't put my arms around them and say they're coming out the AFC. But that's my thoughts, man. What are yours? What's your thoughts on the Bills? And do you think the Bills are in trouble not only for this Sunday, this season, but just honestly for next year and just years to come. RJ out.